Hey everybody, back for another episode. Did a few things in between the end of last episode and this one. Put a few things together, so let's take a look at those, and then we'll see where we're going from here.
No, you're not bringing home another piece of junk.
All right, so if you came along last time, you saw that we got this thing to start, and it sounded pretty good. And I've been doing a little bit of research on this fuel pump relay signal problem I'm having, and I'm pretty sure there's a ground in there that I don't have landed right. But we're going to kind of jump off the wiring right now, and the goal now. Oh, by the way, I noticed as I'm putting my videos together, somehow I end up with this t-shirt on all the time. So SB is Southbound. This was a band me and a couple buddies of mine had for several years. This good old three-piece blues rock band. And anyway, the story is I got this basket in the laundry room of old t-shirts and pants that are my garage clothes, and my beautiful wife does my laundry, so when they're dirty she washes them, and it has just been so happening that every time she washes them and folds the laundry and puts it on this little table in the laundry room that's my garage clothes, that this shirt ends up on top. And me trying to be the efficient person that I am, if it's on top of the stack, that's the one I'm grabbing. So unless this shirt ends up somewhere else in the stack or wears out, I'll probably be wearing this all the time. But I'm not a scum dog. It does get washed regularly. So in case you were wondering. Okay, let's take a look over here. I'll show you what I got done and what we're going to do today. All right, so like I said, I think one of these ground wires is not landed right, and when this thing calls for fuel pump relay, it switches pin 80, which is your fuel pump ground signal, to one of the other grounds, and I just think it's not landed right. Is what I'm suspecting and what I'm finding out online. So we're going to straighten all that out as we get to finalizing all this. But to do that, it's time to get the front clip together and on this thing and start putting things together. So I've got these side ducts put together. These have fresh air vents that come up from under the fender and go down in there. So I've cleaned those up, and I put painted those, and those got control cables will go on those. The new heater is in. I got that motor in that, got the box together. So it's in here, as you can see, and my new heater core worked out pretty good. Now this heater core is from a Comet. Exact same size. The only difference was on the Galaxy heater core, it already has the pipes curving and going out through the firewall. This one just has the stubs on it. So I made these guys up with some 5/8 copper, soldered on these elbows, and we're just going to take these, poke them out the hole, and put a little rubber stub on there and a couple of clamps. So that's ready to go. And heater box is all nice and back together. Everything's working on it, so that ended up working out pretty good. A little more money in it than what I had hoped. I think between the two heater boxes I bought, which were $50 a piece, and I paid $30 for the motor, and then I paid $40 for the heater core. So like $170 to put it all together, which I could not find another complete heater unit on eBay for that. So and even though I found one, I'd still had to put the motor and heater core in it. So it is what it is, you know. I was hoping to do it a little bit cheaper, but that's the way it worked out. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is start taking this thing apart. And I think I am gonna go ahead and put the front wheels back on that thing and get that rug out from under it so we can kind of move things back and forth and be able to clean up in here. But for now, I need to clean this mess off, and then we're going to see if we can get this out of here. I guess as you noticed, the truck is still here. Has not sold. I ran it on eBay several times, kept dropping the price, and finally dropped it down to, it's like, all right, this is ridiculous. I'm not selling it for any less than that. So I guess she's gonna be with me for a while, but that's cool. We'll just keep driving it. I got some more things I want to do to it, and if it sells, it sells. When it sells, you know, whatever. But it ain't eating anything, and I do enjoy it. So my next project that I was thinking of is just gonna have to wait till something happens with it. So maybe in the spring, people will be more interested. It's hard to sell something right before Christmas. It seems like if you wait until tax return time and people got a little money in their pockets and they've been sitting inside all winter and they're ready for the spring car shows and stuff, and that seems like the best time to sell your project. So okay, let me do a little cleanup here and throw these wheels on, and then we'll get on this here. Okay, so I can already tell the stance is much better on this. I don't have the weight of the front clip on it yet, but I can tell I kind of remember eyeing where the top ball joint landed on the tire. And I can tell we lowered it a little bit, even with the old springs probably being sagged out real bad. And again, these are Ford Aerostar springs. They fit right in there. And I was supposed to give a couple inch drop according to some guys on the ham. So initial impressions is, yeah, I like it. So be curious to see once we get all of the way to the front end and the radiator full of fluid and all, bumper and all that stuff on there, kind of where it lands. Right now it's looking pretty level with the back, so, and the back springs are kind of sagged out, but I thought they were all ate up with rust until I power washed the underside of this thing. And then really what I was thinking was a bunch of rust on those springs are undercoated and they had mud all over them. So once I washed them off and cleaned them, it's like, really these things don't look too bad, other than they're probably just, sagged out from being as old as they are. So I may just end up leaving them like they are, and just putting new shocks and stuff on it, bushings if it needs it, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Anyway, tomorrow, you guys heard me talking about where I found a used windshield for this thing, and it was the same place I got that second heater box. So tomorrow morning early, I'm going to drive down there and made arrangements with the guy to come get the windshield, to try to get the windshield without breaking it. So, and I was really hoping to take the camera along and film it. But I called the guy the other day and he said, hey, I'm just verifying I'm coming Saturday. I said, by the way, I got this YouTube thing going. Would it be okay if I film me pull that windshield? And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I really want my property being filmed. And it's like, okay, well, that's cool. Respect the guy's privacy. So sorry about that. I was really hoping to film that so you could watch me drive 2.5 hours to try to take out a 65-year-old windshield and then probably break it and waste the whole trip. So, but maybe not. We'll see. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I kind of remember the method I used to take this out that worked pretty well, and I didn't break it. It was already broke, but I didn't break it any further. So, but we'll see. Okay, I did some sweeping in here. Cleaned off my little welding table. and we are going to dismantle this. I think for right now I'm just going to try to take the core support out. I've been soaking those in PB Blaster, and eventually we're going to take the whole thing apart, but I'd like to just get this out, get this rebuilt down here, and then kind of do a test fit with the holes that the screws go back in, and make sure it's going to go back in the same place while this is together. Then we'll blow this apart and figure that out. So okay, let me start pulling some screws and we'll see what happens here. Okay, I mean, really that came out relatively easy, other than a few really rusty bolts. Only one of them broke, but you see what we got here. So we are pretty foobarred down there, but I think to about right here or so, we're solid. That only had one center bolt holding that core support. That's a funky looking bolt. I might need that thing. Yeah, right there. One bolt. Okay, so this is the remains of the battery tray. I'm gonna get that off of there so I can flip this thing over and kind of get it where I want. And then we're going to look at reconstruction. And I've got plenty of heavy duty metal around here. That's the bottom plate that holds that on. Yeah, it's like that's where all the water collecting. But we're just going to make some patterns out of this and just fix it one piece at a time. I think we'll weld that together first to, I don't know why they cut that. But we'll weld that together first, just kind of hold the shape while we do the rest of it here. So let me get this hunk of battery tray off and we'll take another look. Okay, so we got this, what's left of battery tray off there that is junk. Got this welded back together so she's nice and square again. Now if you look at this really looks crooked because this is broke and hanging off. But this backing piece is straight. There's just enough of it left there to hold that thing together. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut some cardboard and we're gonna make a piece that goes, and I may have to make it in two pieces. I got some 14 gauge over there, but I don't think it's long enough. I think we're gonna go about right here. I'm thinking, and about right here. Probably make that in two halves. And we'll cut that cardboard out. We'll make that template. Then we'll transfer it onto there. We'll weld the two pieces together and we'll make it so it will fit that. And it's just going to be a flat piece. It's not going to have these pieces on it. Not yet. So we'll make this piece. Then we will come over here with another strip and we'll make this back piece. That will hold it steady. Then we'll make, then maybe we'll flip it and make the bottom piece, and then we'll make one more filler piece in here. So we're gonna have to make this out of 4 different pieces. And then there's some hooey over there we're gonna have to mess with. But that's about the only way I know how to do it. Like I said, this is could not find one of the. I looked at 3 parts cars. And every one of them, it was worse than this. This thing was just gone. So we're just gonna make one. And I don't think it'd be that big a deal. All right, so let me get my, actually I'm gonna stop for tonight, get my tools together for the windshield pull tomorrow. And maybe we'll film a little on the way down, on the way back. The guys say he don't want me to film there, so, you know, I don't want to. He doesn't want the camera running there. I won't run the camera there, but we can at least update you afterwards and let you know if we got the thing off without breaking it or not. So, okay, so that's it for tonight. We'll pick this up in the morning. Okay, real quick before we hang it up for the night, change of plans. Rather than cutting this and making it out of 4 pieces, there's some 1.5" square tubing that is exactly that size. It's pretty heavy wall stuff, but you know what? I've got no problem with this being a little more heavy duty. So I got just a big enough piece to span that center, and that is going to make this go a whole lot quicker. So we'll just kind of make a little piece over here. We'll make a little piece over here, a little swoop there, a little swoop there. This will take up the middle, and much quicker and much sturdier and easier. So we're gonna go that route. All right, I got all my stuff packed up for tomorrow morning. So we'll pick this up in the morning. Morning, everybody. So I'm heading for this tiny little town in Illinois. I don't even remember the name of it now. It's on my maps, but there's not much of a town left. I know last time
turn right, then merge onto I-55 South.
Yeah, just a handful of houses, a couple of closed down businesses. You know, one of those towns that looks like it used to be something and there's not much anymore. So I got about an hour to go before I get there.
Merge onto I-55 South.
The guy didn't want me to film on his property, so I just thought I'd drop this in here and then.
In about 15 miles, take exit 95 onto Route 74 East toward Cape Girardeau.
We'll take a look and see, did I get it out without breaking it? So I hope so. We'll know in a couple hours, so we'll check back shortly. Alright, so I get here and really nice old guy, and he's like, you know, if you want to record a little bit, I don't care. So I don't want to be on it and don't show around my property. So here's the car. Windshield is good. It's getting a little bubbly on the bottom here, but I'm really not too worried about that. That's okay. We're gonna go ahead and try and get her out of here anyway. But I didn't bring a camera stand because I didn't think I'd be recording, so I'm not going to record me taking it out. We'll just take a few blips here and there of it coming out, and hopefully it doesn't die on the way. So, all right, let me get the tools out, and we'll start. We got to start by taking this trim off here. So these, there ain't no varmints in here. So this trim has to come off first. These side ones. There's some little screws there. So you take this trim off, you take the top trim off. I got my little trim removal tool. And then you cut the gasket, and then it should come out. But it's in good shape. So, all right, let's see how we do here. All right, so every one of these screws, the head was so rusty you couldn't even get a screwdriver into it. So I've just been taking a hammer and a flathead, and they're small enough, just popping the heads off of them. So we're good on this side. Let's see what we got on the other side. All right, same deal over here. Popped every one of those screw heads off and got this piece off. So and then hers trim in. This car is nasty inside. There's all kinds of rat funk and poop and you name it. If it's nasty, it's in there. All right, let me get my oops, got a trim tool. Where's it at? This and this. So this, I should be able to pop those clips. There's like 4 clips across the top of this thing to hold that top piece of trim in. Let's see. You can't do it and hold the camera. Let me see if we can get it off here. All right, so this gasket is hard as a friggin' rock. And I've just been real careful chipping at it with a putty knife, going up that way to get it off, and we're just about all the way over. Got a little bit of a oopsie there. I think that'll be okay. A little super glue on there, I think will be fine. But once I get down this other side, we can try to pull it out. So let's see what we got. All right, well, the old boy come down and helped me pull that thing the rest of the way out, so I couldn't film while we was pulling. Didn't have enough hands, but there she is, not broke. Can't believe we got that thing out of there as hard as that gasket was. But cool. So now if it'll just make it home without breaking, we'll have something here. So all right, we're hitting the road and heading back home, and we'll check in once we get there. All right, made it home without breaking it. So, you know, it's got a little of this old D-lam going on and some foggy spots, but I'm okay with that, you know, when you consider the rest of the patina on the car. So, I'm gonna go ahead and use it. I mean, $100 versus $500, it's budget friendly. So, that was a good trip. So we're gonna get back on this thing, and like I said in that earlier clip, I am just gonna make this bottom piece out of this, and I think that's gonna work excellent and be much easier than what I was gonna do. So tomorrow we're gonna do that. We'll get going on that, but I'm gonna show you something over here. Look at that. That big old puddle of oil coming out of that brand new shock absorber. As soon as I let the car down, put weight on it, it started dripping oil. It's like, come on, Rock Auto, what's going on, man? They just don't make parts like they used to. So I guess I will message him and have him send me a new one, but that's kind of aggravating. But anyway, all right, we'll get back on this probably tomorrow after church, and see if we can get the welding done on that, and then we'll just clean it up and paint it. And once that's good and we test fit, then we just got to tear this down, bust her down. So we'll take the I'm gonna take the wheel wells out of the fenders, take all the grill and stuff loose. We're going to pour 15 the fenders. We're going to make a patch to fix this rust up here. Paint everything under that's going to be under the hood, and toss her back together. And then once we're there, it goes back on the car, and we just continue to assemble. So it's she's rolling along pretty good. All right, we'll check back in a bit. All right, so I was looking at my oil leak again, and I was mistaken. I thought it was the shock, but it's, if you remember where I did the oil pan, that's where that used to be a level sensor was in there, and I guess I need a gasket or something in there. I got that plug pretty tight, but it was just dripping out the bottom of it. So we're gonna have to take care of that. Not a biggie though. And then my belt came in. So I ended up getting a 60-inch belt, and that fit perfect to bypass the power steering. So just a quick refresher, this is a 2003 Mustang idler pulley. You can buy the smooth pulley or the groove pulley. So you buy the groove pulley, you just take the power steering off, and 60-inch belt, and there you go. Maybe there's a belt part number here somewhere. Yeah, there's your belt part number. But that made that work, so we're in good shape there. Okay, so I have 2 hours left on the eBay auction on the truck. I already took it off the marketplace. I don't think it's gonna sell. I'm not gonna lower it anymore, and I'm not gonna push it anymore this winter. So maybe in the spring we'll relist it. I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple other things to it. I bought a heater for it. I don't have a heater in it, so we're gonna put that in there. I've got the spare tire mount that went on the back door. We're gonna make like a spare tire mount, you know, right there inside the bed with that. And a couple other little things to it. I really would like to lower the back end a little bit. So I think we're gonna take those leaf springs apart, take a few springs out of it, and I'm just enjoy it a little bit longer. It's just not time to sell yet, so that's cool. So anyway, let's get back on this thing over here. So like I said earlier in the video, I got this piece of 1.5 inch square tubing, and so I'm going to cut. I got a line here, a line here. We're going to cut that section off, and then I am going to make these little kicker pieces with some 14 gauge metal, and we're just going to rebuild the whole bottom half of this thing. So it won't look exactly factory, but it will be plenty strong and should work fine. So let me cut this. Do I want to cut it first? I do want to cut it first. Let's go ahead and cut this, and then we'll start making some pieces. All right, so this is kind of my starting point, and I cut these little cardboard dudes here, and we cut those and welded them onto here. So you can see we got a pretty similar shape there going on. So I think the next thing we're going to do is we'll pull this back up here, and on the back of this we've kind of got some of these old brackets we need to cut off, and some of this metal is in pretty rough shape, and it needs to, oh, this piece was actually part of that. I'm gonna have to weld that back on. So yeah, we kind of got some bad stuff going on there. So let's go ahead and cut this off. And we got one over here. Yeah, let's cut this off of this side. Yeah, I don't think we need those. And then I need to flip this over and just kind of measure and make sure, compare the old piece with the new piece and make sure it's just going to land in the same spot. And then we'll kind of tack it together and see what that looks like. And then we're going to have to, you know, get this flat piece here. So we're going to have to cut a piece and kind of do that, and cut a piece and do that on the other side. And you can kind of see where we're going with it. So let me cut these off, clean this up a little bit, and then we'll take another peek. All right, so we got that piece welded in, and it measures the same from there to there as the old rusty piece, so I'm pretty happy with that. All right, I need to make me a few pieces to kind of go this way and go this way, and I don't know if I need to really fully box it. If I need to fully box this thing in or not. Probably don't. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it might be better if I don't fully box it in, just to give a place for rust and crud and stuff to collect. So maybe we'll do a piece there and do a piece there and just leave the back side of this open. All right, I'm gonna go inside and grab some dinner, and then I think we're gonna come back out and work on this again. I wouldn't have left this over here. It's like it's perfectly solid. There was no reason to cut it off there, so I went and left that. All right, go get something to eat, and we'll come back and we'll make a few more pieces. All right, so I've got this side all together, and it came out pretty good. Flip it over and take a look. So now we're going to do that to the other side, and then I just need to knock all the heavy rust off there, and we'll take some rust reformer and spray this thing down, and then we'll paint it. And I do need to drill a hole down here for the core support, but I think I'll wait until I get it on the car and do that, just to make sure we get it in the right place. But yeah, this is heavy duty, Judy. All right, so I think that's going to be it for tonight. I'll pick this back up tomorrow night, and don't forget to vote. Well, no use telling you that. By the time the video's out, you'll already voted, and we'll already have a president. So maybe by the end of this video, we'll know who the president's going to be. So we'll talk about that in a message. So all right, we'll pick this back up tomorrow. All right, so I came back out and got this side done, just like I did that side. So I mean, essentially we're there. I'm gonna sand this thing down and get out my flapper wheel and just kind of smooth some of these edges out, and then we'll put some rust reformer on it, and I'm gonna call it good. So that is much more solid than what it was. We had a few issues there. It was pretty ate up, but yeah, I mean, I didn't fully weld the whole thing, but it's like it's fine. It is not going anywhere. All right, well, let me get this cleaned up, sanded down, and well, like I said, we'll shoot a little paint on it. And then once I do that, I think we are gonna go ahead and I should have enough time on this video left. Say goodbye to that. I'm gonna go ahead and blow this front clip apart. So I want to get it completely apart, get the maybe not 100% completely apart. Like I said, I do want to paint the wheel wells and this stuff up in here, and I do want to fix this, and would like to put some new screws in it. Whether that means taking every piece of trim off of the fenders, I don't know if we need to do that or not, since we're not going to be doing anything out here. But we'll see what completely apart ends up being. So let me get this done, and then we'll take a look at what we're going to do here. Okay, got a little rust inhibitor on that, so we'll paint that tomorrow. There's a little mud packed in that fender, but it's all kind of sandy, and it doesn't feel like it has been wet and destroyed anything up in there, because I can feel the screw heads up in there. And I don't know if you've ever looked at one of these 59s, but this is like a big fresh air intake duct that goes from there all the way back to there. You got them on both sides, so yeah, there is a lot of screws to take this front end apart, and it looks like you got to take the headlight out, get to the ones around this piece of trim, take this piece of trim off, and then you can reach the bolts for the top of the grill, and then you got to get the bolts for the bottom of the grill. There's just a lot of pieces in there, but we're gonna get it. Yes, we are. One thing I'm glad I'm not seeing is a bunch of terrible cancer. I mean, it's surface rusty and it's dirty, but it's reasonably solid looking, so that's good. All right, let me see if I can get to several of these screws, and see if we can get this out of here. Okay, that's enough for tonight. As you can see, every one of those bolts broke off. So we're gonna have to make new mounting studs for those, but I'm glad I took it apart because I really don't want to put it together with all this stuff rusted together. So it's gonna be a lot of bolt cutting to get this thing out of here, but we'll get it out. That's gonna be it for tonight. I'll come back out tomorrow and we'll finish pulling this side off and see if we can get this whole thing apart. I mean, there's pretty much every bolt has the little clip thing on the back of it, and every one of them spinning, and none of them are easy to get to. So, but that's the way it is, you know. Okay, back on it tomorrow. I'll tell you what, this is miserable. Every single bolt on this thing is just, I can get them to break loose, but then the little clips on the back start spinning, and a lot of these you can't even get to the clip on the back. It's just the way this thing's put together. So I'm pretty much gonna have to go through with a cutoff wheel and cut them all off, and try not to cut. I don't want to cut into the sheet metal, because like if you look at these bolts, if I would try to cut that off with the sheet metal, I'd end up gouging this. But I don't know, these I may be able to get a vice grip on the back of and get them off, or at least get them out enough to where I can take a cutoff wheel and cut them off. But I was hoping a couple hours to get this apart. I thought this is going to be an all-day job to get this thing apart, but that's what we got to do. So I guess we'll get back on it, and we'll take another look once I actually get some things apart. Right now I'm just kind of wallowing in the dirt and cutting the heads off of bolts. So all right, man, that's a lot of work. And I just keep getting more and more dirt falling out of this thing. So once we get it all apart, we're gonna power wash all the inside of this stuff. But pretty much got everything out without destroying it. Definitely need to rebuild this panel. But you know, the rest of them ain't too bad. The hood hinges were frozen solid. I got them to move a little bit, so we'll have to work on those. But I gotta cut all of these bolts out of here. I mean, there is just no getting these out. So got a new blade on here. We're just gonna go through, zip them all off, get this fender apart, and then move over here and zip them all off and get this fender apart. And then, like I said, we're gonna take this stuff out and power wash the heck out of it. But it's rolling along pretty good. So we'll check back in a bit here. All right, there's one. Look how many pieces there are to this inner fender well. It's got this front piece up here. That goes up there. Then that's your fresh air duct. And then you got this piece. But I'll tell you what, I'm very glad to see there is no rust out anywhere on this thing. I mean, yeah, we got some surface rust on that thing. And on the back side of the wheel well, you know, surface rust was getting kind of heavy, but you know, we caught it in time, and we'll just wire brush all this off and pour 15 it, and we'll knock all these old bolt clips out and put all new bolts in it, you know, paint all this stuff on the inside, and like I said, leave the outside looking like that. So and then that kind of lends you to, okay, I want to do something crazy in a year, or if I sell it and the next guy wants to go back and paint the car, you know, now you don't have to blow all this apart again. It's already done. So, and it's a nicer look when you open the hood and you can see that stuff. So, all right, let me sweep up all this crud and crap, and then we'll do this side. maybe about another hour's worth of work, and we can have that apart. And then take a break and eat some lunch, and then pull all this stuff outside and clean it up. Just the amount of mud and dirt packed in this thing. On my 61, these eyebrows up here, up above that headlight, they were gone. These are solid as a rock. That's good. All right, back at it. So we're going to let all that dry, haul it back inside, and then I need to power wash all the mud off of here. So yeah, I mean, it's all in good shape. You know, it's the, I don't know if you guys remember when I did the 61, if anybody watched that, man, these fenders were right out up here, and you know, the wheel wells had to do a bunch of patches on there, and this piece was ate out, and so this is much better. All right, well, I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna call it for this video, and let's go ahead and get a word from the Lord when I get all that done, and that'll be it for this one. All right, check in a few. Hey everybody, so thanks for coming along on the video. Got lots of things done and a little road trip, and I'm pretty happy where we ended up. So next video, like I said, we're gonna start getting that thing cleaned up, get a little paint in some spots, and get her back together. So I'm pretty happy about that. So last video, I said by the end of this video, we would probably know who our president is, and we do. And I am totally shocked that Donald Trump won. I voted for him because I am a conservative, but I honestly did not expect him to win. Probably the most astounding political comeback in the history of the country. So I know some people are out there probably happy about that. Some people are not happy about that. I fully expected him to lose. And I fully expected to be doing this video talking about being a gracious loser and praying for President Harris. But I am glad that he won. But the message is that God can and will and does use all kinds of people, all kinds of leaders for his will and to further his kingdom. I was looking in the book of Kings this morning and just going through 1st and 2nd Kings and all of the many kings in both of these books. And some of them you will see that they did evil in the sight of the Lord. And they had shorter reigns because of it, and they were not very good kings. And then some you will see that they were very good kings for their entire reign, and then some you'll see that they started out good and ended up not so good, like old Solomon here. I was reading about him. You know, he started out very much favored by the Lord, and got greedy, and things did not end so well for him, but God did stay faithful to him and did continue to use him. And I'm not going to read any specific verses out of that. Just encourage you to read through 1st and 2nd Kings and just kind of look at those guys and how God used them when they were obedient and when they were disobedient. And, you know, when they blow it like we all do. I really hope that President Trump takes this opportunity to be a uniting and a healing president for this country. And I think he can. I think he's got it in him. I do think he's got a bit of an ego and a bit of a mouth. And I'm hoping that the Lord will press him to get that under control. But a lot of Democrats were elected last night too. in different positions. And I think we should equally, they are leaders of the country also, and I think we should pray for them and pray for the Republicans that got in power. We got some independents got in there, so a lot of new people got in there. A lot of people stayed. We just need to pray that all of them would be beholden to God's will, and that that would be their driving force as they lead our country. Kind of sad in Missouri that the abortion measure that we hoped would not pass did pass. So abortion is back legal in Missouri again, which I think is very sad. That's heartbreaking. But you know what? I don't know that that's something we'll ever legislate out. That is something we gotta help change the heart of these young women who are going through the kind of struggle that puts them in a position where they might need to consider abortion. So we need to show them Jesus and change one heart at a time, and that's how we'll win against abortion, I think, and not legislating it out. So anyway, let's have a quick word of prayer, and we'll be done here. So, Father, I just thank you for today, and thank you for all these men and women across our country who step up into these leadership positions. And we just ask your blessing on all of them who won last night, that you would lead them and guide them regardless of what party affiliation they had. Just that they would be faithful and obedient to you in all things. And we pray for President Trump as he gets ready to lead us for another 4 years. Just that you would be heavy on this man's heart, that you would continue to speak to him loudly and be his conscience, and that he would put honorable men and women around him. We pray for President Biden, and we pray for Kamala Harris as they wrap up their administration. And we thank you that for their service to our country, and we ask your blessing on them and on the rest of their term. And we ask this in the precious name of your Son Jesus. Amen. All right, hit like, hit subscribe, leave comment, and we'll catch you on the next one.